Thank you for tuning in to this year's Fright Month. Throughout this month of October, each and every day we shall be looking into one specific location in and around the city of Philadelphia, giving you their history and some of the hauntings associated with the location. There will be shorter episodes than the normal weekly ones that you can expect from this podcast. However, I do still hope that you enjoy our journey into this location's past and the parts of the history that may still be lingering here in the present. Be sure to also check out the Patreon throughout the month for show note links and resources for each location, as well as some special behind-the-scenes content to celebrate the joyous month of Fright. So today we shall be discussing the Academy of Music, also known as the American Academy of Music. This building stands as a concert hall and opera house, and it is positioned just south of City Hall along Broad Street in Center City, and it is situated pleasantly within the Avenue of the Arts. The hall was constructed between the years of 1855 and 1857, and it stands as the oldest long-lasting and operated opera house here in the United States. The hall also holds the nickname of the Grand Old Lady of Locust Street. And the Avenue is also the home of the Pennsylvania Ballet and the Opera Philadelphia, both being really incredible performing arts companies based here in Philly, who provide performances for several famous and well-known shows within the very same halls that they are hosted in. This is also the original home of the Philadelphia Orchestra from when it was created back in 1900, up until it was eventually moved to the new Kimball Center for the Performing Arts back in 2001. Although as of today, the Philadelphia Orchestra still retains ownership of the Academy. Finally, within the year of 1962, the hall was designated as a National Historical Landmark, and you can read all about it on its special little blue plaque just outside of the doors. It's definitely an interesting place to go and visit. The very first time that I was there, I was actually there for an art gallery, because the hall actually has a lot of unique things that happened within it. Now, I'm not going to go into the deep history of the hall because there's a lot. Many famous shows were hosted here, and even more countless artists managed to grace the stage within the theater. Even some political conferences and events were held here on the location throughout the years, along with some visitations from past presidents such as Grant or Nixon. But again, to talk about all this specific history would take far too long. So I'm going to encourage you guys to go and do some of your own research if you are so inclined, especially if you are interested in history or theater itself. But again, the deep dive of this specific location doesn't really add a whole lot of credence to the paranormal claims that I'm sure you're here for. And again, it's a lot of very specific points, mentioning specific shows, a lot of dates, a lot of people, and ultimately it doesn't really change a whole lot. The theater itself hasn't gone through anything too traumatic or revolutionary in any way. It sort of has stood the testament of time, essentially, and continues to work this way today. Again, I have visited the location a few times. The only time in which I've actually attended a show there, I actually fell asleep. So if that says anything about me as a person who attends these events, I actually fell asleep. This was only due to the fact that the show was after 9:30, and there was a very, very, very long violin solo that put me to sleep. So normally I would be entertained by a theatrical performance. However, in this particular case, it just sort of lulled me to bed. And the seats are pretty comfortable. So if you are going to the show, you have that to look forward to. But again, I am going to be cutting the backstory stuff a little short because it would seem that the Academy is also known for its supernatural visitors, some in which seem to still linger about the hall today. So countless attendees of events that are hosted within the Academy have reported rather strange experiences while sitting in the upper balconies in particular. There is, what is believed to be at least, a man in black, or sometimes reported to be a shadowy figure, who seems to haunt a rather specific area within the theater, and this is being just behind the very last row of seats, again up in the balcony areas. However, as the lights go up, or for laymen, being turned back on during intermissions or after the overall performance has wrapped up, his shadowy figure that people have spotted during the show simply disappears. It seems as though he is not too fond of the light. In addition to this elusive man in black, or again, shadowy figure that some people report, female visitors to the hall in particular seem to have their very own unique experiences when it comes to the supernatural. If these guests happen to find themselves seated next to an empty seat within the theater, on occasion, an invisible companion might just join them for the show. So this occurs as the cushion of the seat next to them begins to indent, and creaking sounds can also be heard while this is happening, almost as if someone's weight is being applied to the seat as they sit down next to them. Some women who, again, visit the location have also reported to have their hair pulled on occasions during the shows, and on at least one account, a female visitor has also reported to have been pinched by an unseen hand. However, it would seem as though no male visitors or attendees to the Academy of Music have reported any of these specific events occurring for them. Again, this seems to only be a female-centric sort of haunting. So aside from the shadowy figure and the, again, overly touchy ghost, the Academy of Music is also known for the very common reports of paranormal activity, this being disembodied voices and noises that can be heard echoing throughout the entirety of the theater. These aren't anything too crazy. They're not, guttural screams or loud banging or something crashing in the distance. However, it is certainly something that would startle you if you happen to be alone within the building. Although I will make one final key point with this particular instance. Again, the theater is located right on Broad Street, which is relatively one of the more busy streets within Philadelphia. It's one of the main streets that run north to south. And again, it's right near City Hall in Center City. A heavily trafficked area. There's subway stops there, several bus stops. A lot of people are going in and out of clubs, hotels. And again, it's on the performing arts area, so people are attending late night events. So when it comes to disembodied noises that you kind of hear muffled in the distance, keep in mind that you may want to be a little more skeptical if you are investigating the location and this sort of event seems to occur. It's just my FYI, don't have to take it to heart, but just keep that into consideration. But that will be all for today's location, the Academy of Music. I hope that you enjoyed learning some of the history and haunts that are linked to this area. Again, hopefully if you are a female visitor, you may have your hair tied up because something might be playing with it. Remember, if you want to check out the show note links and resources used to research this episode, along with some behind the scenes and exclusive content from the location, I hope to go into Philadelphia in the coming days, and I will try to get some photos or video of this specific location. Then be sure to check out the podcast's Patreon for all those goodies. Again, if you wish to also stay up to date with Fright Month and all that it has to offer, then you can do so over on our Twitter and Instagram at Realm of Unknown. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed today's rather brief episode, and I hope that you continue to join us throughout Fright Month here at Realm of Unknown.